Hello, and welcome to another Tech Articles. In today's article, we're going to take a quick look at FluentCart. And I don't know how long this video is going to be. I've been playing with it for a few hours this afternoon. I had early access to the beta for a few weeks now, and I just haven't had the chance to look at it. I've played with their demo installation, and it seems relatively nippy, but actually it is pretty fast. Playing with it today, I can attest to that. You'll see that as we'll go through what we're going to do. Now, there's been a few videos on FluentCart, and I'm not going to replicate all of the bits and pieces that we've done. I'm going to do this for something slightly different. I'm going to target this video at those who are looking to replace EDD. So EDD Downloads is the #1 probably plugin update suite out there, and FluentCart and the Fluent team have WP Ninja team have just transferred over to FluentCart from EDD. So it's totally capable of updating plugins and running plugins and selling plugin licenses. And there is no documentation yet, and this is why I spent a few hours this afternoon playing with it, reading how the software works, and backwards engineering my own set of update scripts for this. And that's what we're going to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to head over into WP, and I'm going to create 2 sites. They're just standard WordPress sites, and we'll go through what's on them when they are generated. And FluentCart is a proper WordPress plugin, and by that I mean it's fully on your local WordPress install. So more akin to EDD and WooCommerce than ShortCart, and I use ShortCart as my plugin delivery mechanism. I like ShortCart. I like the fact that I can offset some of that load to their servers rather than my own, but this runs entirely in your own workspace here, and that has some advantages as well as some disadvantages, but I'm going to focus on the advantages, and those are that the code is open to you. And I've been a big fan of ShortCart's API, and I really hope that FluentCart's API is equally as good or better, and I hope that they can automate this very last stage of uploading plugins so that there's an API to give it a folder file, a zip file, and it's done, because that's one part I can't currently do on ShortCart. And while I don't release that often, I have quite a few plugins, and having to upload every one of them every time is quite annoying. So by now our NCWP sites will be up and running. So the first one here, lucky, is going to become our Fluent cart site, and we're going to go to that now. And it will be a very blank install of WordPress. On here are only 2 plugins, my utility plugin, and I believe there's an MU plugin behind the scenes here that will also handle some of the email delivery, but it doesn't matter. We're not going to use any of that today. So the next thing we're going to do is install FluentCart Pro, and we do that the normal way. I've got that down here, like so. And we're going to activate that, and we've got it activated already. So we've got our FluentCart. It'll now prompt us to install the main plugin, and that's now installing. So the first thing it asks us to do is give our shop a name, and we're going to call our shop Tech Articles. And we'll leave it as US dollars. I'm going to upload a logo. We've got one here, so let's use it. And I'm going to generate all the pages normally, and we're going to start from scratch. And basically that is our store set up. Didn't ask for a lot. Now, it doesn't take any payments, and we're not going to go through adding payments. It's relatively easy to do, and you'll see all of that as we go through. So we're going to go to settings, and we are going to, this is where you would set up your payments, for example, here, but we're going to go to our store settings and just check what is here. We are definitely on test. And now we're going to navigate down to here where it says features and add-ons, and we're going to enable the license manager. And here's product licensing, and we are just going to enable that. And that is our products are now licensable. which means we can serve plugin updates. The next thing we're going to do is create a product, and we're going to stick with a digital product, and we're going to call this awesome plugin. And I'm going to add that product. I'm just going to put awesome plugin in here, and we are going to not add a download to it yet, but we are going to make it licensable, and we're going to put some details in here. So we'll put version 0.9 on the server. Actually, we'll put version 1.01 on the server. We've got a license prefix, and that will go before our license. So in this case, we're going to put demo product, like so. And currently there's no downloadable file found, so we are going to leave that as it is, and we're going to tell it it is a WordPress plugin, and we're going to leave all of these blank for now. These would do your usual banner icon, and these would be for versions control, and this would be your page on your site that would have your changelog, or on your support site, for example. But we're not going to set any of that up now. So we're updating our settings. We're going to go back to our product, and we are going to publish it. And our product is now live. So we now have a live product, product number 16, and we are good to go. So the next thing I've got is I've prepared over here a starter set, and we're going to generate a new plugin. So I'm going to push this script, and it will pull up a batch script. I'm going to move this slightly out of the way. Actually, I'll leave it in the background for you. So the starter is where we want it. We called it awesome plugin, I think. Doesn't matter. Anyway, it will use the way this is coded. It will use the slug, so as in the directory. So awesome plugin. I'm going to fix that when we do that. I'm going to leave the default items, our store. So we need to close that down and go and get our store address so that we can put that in. And it was 16. We'll let it derive, and that's just scoped me a new version of my starter kit. I'm going to correct this folder name and the file name because it really shouldn't be capitalized. So a quick refresh, and we'll go into the folder and we'll view what was just changed. So I'm just going to open this folder, this file, and you'll see here we now have a awesome plugin, reusable starter kit. Now this plugin doesn't do anything, it is just licensing, setup and pages, and there's a few configs in here. Now I suspect this has taken me about an hour and a half to pull together this afternoon, but I suspect that when it's launched there'll be a full set of developer docs and probably even an SDK. But I wanted to have a play, and I wanted a different avenue to explore this with, so I've done a little bit of work to do that. So this is our config. We've added our site to it, which if we can go back to our window, that is our site, which we copied across, and all this did was build it out for us. In our case, the menu is going to go in the settings, and it's going to be called, we're just going to change the menu title to awesome plugin, because that's outside of the generator. Just change it like that, and we'll just change custom plugin to awesome, like so that we've got some sort of consistency. And that's it now. Now I can't remember what we set it over on Fluent to be, so let's check why we do that. So let me check for Fluent what we set the version number to be. So if we go into our awesome plugin and go into license settings, version 1.01. So this is version 1.1 which we've just created. So we are good to go with this. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to zip this up. So I'm going to close this down. I'm going to zip this up and install this on our base site. So that second InstaWP site that we created is where this is going. I'm going to move this off screen. I'm going to go back to InstaWP, and it's Festive Hornets we're going for. So I'm going to open that up. I'm going to move that this side so it's done. and this is equally as blank, and all we're going to do is dump in our awesome plugin, and that's it. We've published our first plugin. We haven't quite uploaded a version yet, but we have a plugin, it's working, and it's FluentCart compatible. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to reopen Sublime. I'm going to change this to 1.01. I'm going to close it down. There's a slug down here to do as well. Now, in my normal release cycle, these will all automatically be updated via my via my shell or my pat script. But in this case, we'll do it by hand, and we are going to upload a plugin. I've zipped that up off screen. We're going to go back to our server, and we're going to go to edit the product. We're going to go and make a downloadable asset. We're going to add a new downloadable asset. We're going to choose a file. We're going to upload a file. You can see what I was talking about earlier about this being snippy. You can really see that I haven't really done that. We haven't set this up, but also it's not on premium hosting. This is just on into WP, rolling around, and it's actually really quite fast. I'm really quite impressed with just how nippy as a suite it feels. So then we go to license settings, we check that it's taken that. We've got 1.01 as our version. We're going to update those settings. We're going to go back to our site and refresh. Now you see here it still says 1.00. I'm going to delete the transients, and you'll see here it tells me that there is an update available. We can't get that update. The reason we can't get that update is because we need to activate our license. Now, for the purposes of this video, I've made sure that this outputs the server that it's going to, so we can all see what's going on here. It's currently invalid. What we're going to do is we're going to head back over to our license server, and we're going to create an order. So again, this is quick, and you can see how quickly I am navigating through the pages here. We're going to create an order. We're going to browse for our product. We've only got one, so it will load up. We're going to add that item. It's already free. We need to add a customer. Let's call them tech articles and customer at wpcode.dev. As I said, I've not even set up the thing. I'm not going to create a WordPress user. Actually, we'll create a WordPress user for them. Create customer. They now exist, and we're going to save, and we are done. So they now have a license key. Currently there is no activations to this license key. If we go to licenses and view this license key, there is no activations to this license key. We head over to our dummy site and save and activate. It tells us it's valid. It's a lifetime license, and we are good to go. Now, if we go back to our update, you'll see here that our update doesn't exist, and that's because we're still locked in with the transients. Now, if I delete the transients, we can now have an update. If I push update now, we've got an update, and we've just served our very first FluentCart update. Now, as a plugin developer, I don't really like the word developer because I'm not technically a developer. That's because I haven't updated the constant properly. There we go. Because of a developer, you want things to work and just work, and this does just work. You've just seen me create a plugin from scratch, stick the details from FluentCart in it, and have it serve an update immediately. Now, I'm going to release another update. We're going to do this together, so I'm going to bring this over here. Going to open up Awesome Plugin, move this again. We're going to change this to 2. Again, 2. And that's done. I'm going to go back here, delete this, zip this one up, like so. And that's done. We're going to go back to our site, back to our products, and again, you can see, although there's nothing on this site, and we're not doing a lot, there is just a lot of speed here. It is it feels very much like there's a nice flow to it. FluentCart Starter, awesome plugin. We're going to upload that. We're going to confirm that's the one we want. We're going to save that asset. We're going to head over to license settings. That should have grabbed the right awesome plugin. It would help if I version controlled them, but it doesn't matter. 1.02, we're going to update that setting, and we've just released another update. If we go back to our site, refresh and delete our transients, we have another update. And just as quick as now, this happens to me occasionally, that has not taken our file. I don't know why it does that every so often. I think it's because of how fast I'm doing these. So there we go. So that's all gone through, that's done. And we're now on version 1.2. I've obviously selected the wrong file. This is why you version control your files, so that's what I'm going to do. We will rename this version 1.02 on the end, so we know exactly which file we're selecting, and we'll do that again. But this is why I automate all of this, so that I don't have to do it. So we go to edit product again, we add a product up, we choose a file, we upload a file, we browse and upload, go to awesome 102, upload, confirm, save, go back to our license. This time make sure we've got 102, update our settings, back to our site, delete our transients, and update. And there we go. So that was user error, not software error. And that's why we version control. So there we go, 102. That double update is because of the transients. It's because of what I'm doing with the transients. I'm not giving it a chance to update the version because I'm doing it too quickly. So you've seen how quickly we can release a plugin. And as I said earlier, I suspect when this is actually released, there'll be full-on developer docs and SDKs. You won't have to do what I've done here, and that's create your own to get this working. But you can see just how quick this is to work with, and the fact that it is all there for you to understand how it's working means that I've been able to do this. And if I wanted to launch this beta they've given me, it is fully functional. I could today release this to update plugins, to do updates, just like WordPress Managed Ninja are. And it is really quite performant. And I know that's part of that is because there's nothing on this site, but it loads relatively quickly. I've got none of those lags that you get with Woo. In addition to that, you saw how quickly we did our start of our site. So our startup of the site, very quick, very unintrusive, compared to a full-on let's set your site up for 4 hours you get with Woo. I really like it. I think it's got real potential. As I said, I wanted to do a video on it because I'd been given access to it, but I wanted to do something slightly different. And you just can see just how quickly stuff is loading as I'm moving around. I imagine they're utilising the preload engine, and that's allowed them to work with the interactivity engine, etc., to make this much faster. This feels very WordPress native rather than working in WordPress. It feels very much like it's working with WordPress. The one big advantage about it all being on your own server and on your own site, and the code all being there, and the GPL, is with good developer documentation, it is not going to be difficult to add payment providers, shipping providers, and to make additions that you want. If you want to customize it yourself, you can see here they've got loads of payment providers to come here. I like the fact that they're actually considering Paddle as well, rather than it being a bolt-on, because a lot of the providers that offer Paddle, it is a bolt-on. So for WordPress, etc., you have to buy a separate plugin to do that. Yeah, I really like it. I think it's really quick in terms of licensing. and our sales and how they work. You saw how quickly we were able to add a demo product, how quickly we were able to license that product, give an order for that product, and have it working and updating on a WordPress site. So hopefully some of you find this video useful. Thank you for watching. Please do like and subscribe to the channel.